we'll get started with the Q&A session right now. We've
Perfect.
got like a lot of questions right now. So, what to choose between a good company with a low package or an average company with a higher package?
Oh, that's a great question. So I would say there is no good or bad company. Okay. The package does matter to you, but I would say always look out for your profile. The biggest thing, as you guys are fresh, is that you would not know a lot of industry. Okay, you don't. For example, I'll tell you about cybersecurity itself. There are 5 fields in cybersecurity. There is technical, there is process, there is regulatory. You cannot have a mix of all this in your college, right? So the first thing you have to do is put yourself into the industry, right? Your first 2-3 years would be like, okay, I like this also, I like that also. Should I be moving forward with this, that? Uh, it's good to choose a good company. A brand would always have a brand company. I wouldn't say good company again. Good and bad are very subjective, but a brand company, okay, like Big Fours or big banks, they would always have a good put on your CV. When it comes to package, personally, it's a personal choice. I mean, you can go to a bad or a small branded, I wouldn't say bad, a small branded company, a startup, if they are paying you more. Okay, that does not make that companies any bad or any lower, right? Every company is the way they are, and at the end of the day, you should be happy with the work because you are trying to do something that you want. So good company, bad company, very subjective. Just go for what you want. If you feel you want money, go for the money. If you want to have certain type of job, go for the job.
What should I do if I don't get placed?
Oh, so I'll answer that question with my life. When I was a place comer and I always thought that, you know what, it's going to be fun. I'll always have placements. You know, I'll meet and interact with all the big HRs and I'll have all the things waiting for me. But I didn't get the job I wanted. Okay, and when I graduated from college, I had good companies on my hand, but they were not what I was waiting for, what I was rooting for. So I waited for 6 months and I got what type of job I wanted. So if you don't get placed, the market is very much open. Just keep applying. Okay. Again, first thing you have to do is just understand what you want and just work towards it. It's okay not to get placed. There are many people who don't, right? Uh, Touchwood, our college has a very good reputation of getting everyone placed. But if you don't worry. You know, you contact your seniors, contact me. We have few lineups in our industry. We can try to help you out, or we can try to at least make you more better with interviews. Right? So don't worry, you will get jobs.
How to deal with the nervousness before a personal interview and how to build confidence because I am an introvert. So that's a thing.
Oh, okay. So I would say, okay, when you say you are an introvert, you don't speak out in crowd, right? But when you are going through an interview, you are just speaking to a person. Imagine that person is your friend, or imagine that person is your teacher, or imagine that person is someone you know. It becomes an easy job for you, right? It's okay to have nervousness. I still do have nervousness. I have nervousness even before every meeting I attend in my office, even though I've done that work 1,000 times now. It's okay to be nervous. Just take a deep breath and practice, as you said, smiling and looking in the eyes. Practice it. It would not just come in 1 or 2 interviews. It may take 4 or 5 interviews, maybe few rejections. Don't get disheartened. It's nothing bad to be an introvert. I too was one, and it takes time to come out, but you will get recognized sooner or later. Okay, just work on it. It's okay to have some disqualities, but then you have to work on that.
How important is my LinkedIn account when I'm applying for my interview?
Okay. For placement interviews, not much because people don't see LinkedIn at that time. They would rather focus on CV in hand. But if you're trying to apply via lateral hirings once you go off campus hirings, yes, it does matter. Your LinkedIn should look good. It should mention things that actually are on your CV, right? So your LinkedIn should be an exact replica of CV. But for college placements, it doesn't matter.
So are there any short certifications or courses that I can do before getting a job?
Yes, you can in your own domains. So for example, you want to be a data analyst, go for a Tableau certification. There are many on Coursera. There are many on Udemy. Okay. And they are cheap. I think 500, 600 rupees. They are cheap and you can get certified. If you're doing cloud, IBM cloud certificates. For security, you have security certificates. There are no certificates for, I mean, soft skills are cannot be certified basically. Yeah, but it would just give you an upper hand. Yes, certificates do give you an upper hand.
I don't have many extracurriculars on my resume and I have a low GPA. Will I be at a disadvantage compared to the other students?
So I'd put that into two questions. For low GPA, it does pose in certain companies because companies do have a criteria of having certain sets, so 60% or above throughout or 70% and above throughout. It wouldn't stop you from getting few companies. I mean, it's not every company would have such a layout, but yeah, some biggies would have those criteria. So GPA does matter, but don't worry. Off campus, you can apply to those uh, companies and you will get in. It's as I said, in the initial round, they want to cut down from that 600 to 60. So they would try to set apart maybe on CV basis, maybe on aptitude basis or GD basis. So it will happen. And the second question was, sorry.
I don't have many extracurriculars on my resume, so will I be at a disadvantage?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to not have extracurriculars. It's fine because uh, it's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter much. Even I didn't had much extracurriculars during my placements. Uh, what matters is how you portray yourself during the interview. It's okay not to have like too much of extracurriculars or not even one. Like even I was just a place comma. Apart from that, I had nothing on my CV. But it doesn't matter. You just need to be confident. As I said, all matters is when you are in a room with one person, how much you can impress that person.
Yeah. How do you evaluate the company working style towards the next couple of years?
Oh, nice question. See, I would say in the industry currently, many of my clients and many of the companies that I know are moving to remote working. And there is no doubt that this would be the new normal. And the reason for this is people are saving a lot of money on logistics. A rent of 1 month rent for one small office is 1 lakh rupees. And if I can save that, I can hire one person extra, right? So throughout the year, so 12 lakh ka package pe I can hire someone. So this is how the companies are looking right now, and people are moving. Companies are moving to cloud. They are moving to AI. There is something called as robotic process automation, which is being highly used right now, and it is something that conceptually it is very small thing. People who are from IT or CS background, they must be knowing that there is something called as Linux shell scripting, where you put sets of command into one set of box, and then you just run that box and it runs all the commands together. RBA is just making that into a drag and drop tool and making it big develop tool. So yeah, it's fun, I see the industry moving to a very different extent. As I said, physical activities will be very, very less. We have games, we have games that are now on online platform where people go ahead and provide events there. So yeah, there is a lot of movement there.
I'm a student from the mechanical branch but want to apply to the software sector. Will I be eligible and will I be able to find placements?
Yes, definitely. If you have done your homework correctly, right? If you want to move towards development position, do your homework. Get one certification. Try to study those languages, okay, on a normal basis, and get yourself prepared for it, right? You cannot just sit and say I want to become a developer. You have to show the interviewer that though I'm from mechanical, my interest is here. And be prepared to get asked, you are from a mechanical branch, why do you want to move to a technical background? So always say that, you know, I wanted to start with mechanical, but with time I got interested into IT and I wanted to move to technical field. Okay, this is a good way to put it. Don't worry. And you will get, definitely you will get. I have so many friends who have done mechanical and currently work in IT.
Will the interviewer judge me on the basis of the number of applications to other companies? Like how much I've applied?
Mm, no, no, no. They never get to know that who has applied to how many companies. So don't worry. Uh, nobody will reject. Nobody will reject you because you have been rejected by 10 companies. Nothing like that. Don't worry. There is no number game. Okay, someone got rejected 10 times. I cannot take them. No, nothing like that happens.
What GPA is respectable and how can I have an edge over others because I'll be graduating with 60 other civil engineers. So how do I differentiate myself?
A good way to differentiate yourself, put more things on your CV, get certification, get industry knowledge. As I said, contact your seniors, get in touch with your professors and know more things. See, it's okay to know that it's good that you know that I'm competing against 60 people who are having the same CV and the same knowledge. It's good that you have realized that. But now what you have to do is try to build up yourself, your CV in such a way that it stands out, right? So for example, you want to move to a technical field in civil engineering itself. Okay, get those certificates, get in touch with your professors, get in touch with your seniors, and know, you know, in case you don't know your seniors, get in touch with your professor and ask them, can you recommend me to one of the seniors? All seniors are available. We have great seniors in MPSTMA, and you know, they'd help you. Like I got help from many of my seniors, so I know there will be many waiting for you. And a respectable GPA, try to maintain anything about 2.8, 2.9. That's a good GPA. I would say GPA is not just only important for work, but in life you will require GPA for many other reasons. So always have a respectable GPA of around 2.8, 2.9. 3 is very good. 3 and above is very good.
How much importance will be given to experiences and internships?
Very much. If the internships and experiences are in the right field, it would be like you have almost secured the job. Okay, because you know, in industry it takes time to train people, at least 6 months. And if you have that work experience, that industry exposure, it just makes the company easier to get you on board and make you work. So it does matter. Uh, on that same note, I would say that sometimes people say I have internship in some another field, but I want to get work in some another field. It's okay. It's okay to have that, but always know how to loop your internship into that way. For example, if I'm doing security, I would say that in my internship, I was working on a technical model where I was handling the cybersecurity of that technical model. So always try to loop your internship in that way, and people will always appreciate work experience.
Does the certification of participation in various college events be a great addition to your resume?
Oh, see, I wouldn't say CSR activities are not good. They are good, but they do not matter to an extent that it would decide if you get a job or not. Okay, it's good to have multiple certificates. It's good that you have done multiple things. When you do so many things, it also brings a lot of confidence in you. It brings a lot of communication skills in you. So that's great. But it does not, you know, it does not define if you'll get a job or not. It is more dependent on the knowledge the interviewer is looking for. The interviewer is not looking for a person who has, done 100-meter dash. It's good that you have done it. It's great, but it doesn't matter to him that way.
If I know I want to apply to the CSIT sector from my first year, what would be the right time to prepare my CV and my resume?
Oh, start preparing it from the first year. As you know, uh, a good practice for everything is do it when you realize it. Okay, it can be in your first year, second year, third year, fourth year, maybe just a day before your resume. But when you realize it, just work on it. Okay, don't give up, or don't try wasting your time on planning stuff. Rather, just work on it. If you want to make a CV tomorrow, just go for it. It may have 2 points, fine, but in next year you'll have 3 points, third year you'll have 4 points, right? So keep building it. Start from the very first day.
Can you give a brief idea of the best color combinations to dress up for an interview?
Oh, that's actually a very good question. So the great combinations are always wear light colored shirts. Okay. mostly white or light blue. Okay, white is always the best. I would say before your interviews, just go and buy 5 white shirts. It would sort everything out. You have your college blazers with you, so you don't need to worry about color combination. Anything with that blazer matches is good. Don't wear any chinos, any fancy stuff. Don't wear any fancy shoes, mojri, and all those stuff. Go formal, right? You're going for an interview. Dress yourself well. Uh, your belt should not say, "Hey, hi, dollar sign." Those stuff. Don't do that. Just be professional. A good practice is the color of your belt should match the color of your shoes. So if you're wearing a black belt, you black shoes. Brown belt, brown shoes. Uh, Always wear good colors. Don't put very flashy like green pants and yellow, all brighty yellow fluorescent stuff. Avoid those. Be dressed. So a good practice, whenever you wear a tie, your collar should be inside your blazer. Now I'm currently wearing it wrong. This should be above my blazer, but sorry. But usually whenever you wear a tie, you should have your collars inside the blazers. And I mean, always if you feel that you feel that there is some confusion, internet is available to you. Just Google what is the best combination to wear. And the best one I would say is if you have a black blazer currently with MBS TV, right? You have black blazers, right? So a white shirt, black pant, that's the best combination you can wear.
Which is more important, certifications or industry internships or freelance experience on my CV?
All three. If you have all three, then I mean the interview is giving you a job there and there. Uh, Certifications have importance where it shows your interest. Okay, it does not show your experience. Internship and freelancing show your experience. So these are two different things. One thing is you are saying I'm interested, that is why I'm doing this. One thing is that I was interested and I got a job and I'm well enough to do this. So everything is important, all three of them. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't make you any different if you just have certificates or just have internships. But if you have all three, it's going to be really good for you.
I want to pursue an MBA or an MS degree in the United States after completing my undergraduation. So do I need work experience for that, or will my scores be enough?
Again, it's a personal call, but I would say work for 2 years. Okay, it's a good practice to have a industry experience of 2 years and then moving out. I would say all successful people who are currently doing masters in US, okay, all successful people have at least 2 years of experience in industry before they leave for US. So do that. That would that would help you to get internships during your MS. So just moving directly would be a bit overhaul. There will be struggles. It doesn't say that you won't get, but there will be struggles. But if you have industry experience, you may also have connects, so you can get internships and jobs much easier than those people.
If I already have 2 KTs, how much will it affect my chances of getting hired?
Okay, so there are companies who say full clear, who want no KTs. But there will be companies who would take people with 5 and 10 KTs also. So don't worry, you can get a job. Just don't get more KTs. That's the only advice I'll give.
Do I customize my resume or CV according to the companies that I'm applying to?
If you feel so, look at the job description. If you feel that I need to add this, then go for it. Or else there is not needed to add much, make much changes to your CV, because what happens is if you have multiple changes in your CV, you would not be having hold of which CV to put for which company. There are chances that you may give wrong CV for the wrong job. So keep one CV which has everything, okay, so that you are good with that and you can put it everywhere.
How should I optimize my resume? Is there any part that I should highlight?
So again, internship, certificates, any work experience, freelancing. Freelancing is also very good. It's not that you need to have a proper branded work experience altogether. Freelancing is very great. Highlight those points, right? These are something that that are making you up very, very different from the crowd. So it is very important you highlight those points. I would say a simple CV is more than enough. You don't need to put too many symbols, signs, bold or underline. But yeah, do put those words which you feel. Don't underline them, but just bold them, right? Those are basically you're trying to make the interview catch those words, right? So do that. You can do that. That's great.
Which thing can provide more success? Freelancing jobs or private jobs or government jobs?
Okay. There is nothing called as the most success, right? Like you can, there is an IPS officer who may earn 40 lakhs. There is a CEO in a company or a consultant or a partner in a big four who's earning 40 lakhs. And there is a freelancer also who can earn a 40 lakh project. I mean, there is nothing called as most successful. I would say from a private job perspective or a government job perspective, they are basically like an investment, right? So you have it, so you don't need to worry. But with freelancing, you always have to worry about getting work, and the market will not always be up for work, especially with freelancing, because you would be providing same things that branded companies would be providing. So you are basically competing your oneself to the entire company. So it would be great rather you put your effort into something, then you would have to provide the services for a cheaper rate. Rather just go into a good company, get yourself a good, great package and relax, right? You don't need to manage an entire company or run after the client, hey, give my money. It would be done by the company itself.
How can we apply for Accenture as it asks for experienced people?
Uh, uh, so Accenture would be coming on campus, hopefully, as a mass recruiter. So don't worry about applying for Accenture. In case you want to apply as a fresher, always remember fresher jobs open during fresher times. So from January to May, April, May, fresher jobs would be on the peak. Okay, before you come and join a company in June, July, these are the times when you will have a lot of fresher jobs in the market. uh, you can apply to Accenture right now also if you have if you what you can do if you feel that I cannot go through the portals or all, try to connect to one of your seniors. They would be very happy to help you and refer to your CV.
Are writing and publishing case studies and research papers helpful in your CV?
Yes, if they are pertaining to the job. Okay, so if, for example, I publish a paper on cyber, it would be helpful for them to understand. Because when you do write a paper, you are also doing a research. You're getting to know more than usual than you get in your college. So yes, it would be helpful. But again, don't bank on it to get the job. It would give you like a 5% extra, up push, but then it is all on how you put in your interview. So then in your interview, you have to just like, you have to, during your introduction, just say, hey, you know what, I have written a paper. Do you want to know more about that? Just go for it.
How important is knowing coding languages in this technology industry?
Uh, it's a very great question. You should know languages if you want to be in technical field, right? But if you don't want to be in technical field, there is no point doing it just because you want a job. You can get a job in different fields. Uh, you can get in support. You can get in uh, you can get in management. You can get in product delivery. Okay, you can get in cyber. Okay, cyber also has technical and process. You can move to process. I'm not a technical guy. I mean, I'm an IT graduate, but till date I cannot properly code a entire set of lines. So it doesn't matter much. Yes, the industry is demanding a lot of development and all those stuff, but no, industry is also moving to automation. So instead of just knowing development or codes, rather move to technology. So cloud, you can see how an AWS cloud works, how an Azure cloud works. Okay, so these things will help you. How Tableau works, how Power BI works. Those things will help you rather than just doing C, C++, Java. Unless it is what you want to do, then yes.
Can you specify the things that we shouldn't include in our resume?
Don't use negative words. Okay, don't lie. Again, the most important thing, never lie on your resume. I just heard something and you know what, I should put this on my resume. Don't do this. I saw something in the JD, I should put it. Don't do that. Never lie on your resume. uh, be very crisp when you write on your resume. It should not be confusing. Okay, especially when you're putting about internships, about your experiences. People tend to put multiple bullets. I've done this also, that also, this also. Just be very simple, that I have worked as an intern at so and so company. My responsibilities were, I developed so and so code, I reviewed so and so code. Just be simple so that when the interview looks at it, he knows what you have done. Okay. And apart from that, it's nothing that you should mostly avoid. Just don't make it fancy. Don't have symbols, heart symbols. Don't have fancy yellow bright colors. Just be normal. Just be yourself in your CV.
How can we contact you for our guidance?
You can always ping me on LinkedIn, or my details will be shared by Ananya and team later on. So you guys can always catch me up for that. And always feel free to ask. As I say, I am what I am because of my seniors, because of my peers, because of asking so many questions every day. And it is always great to do that. Okay. And if you are seeking help, you are already moving in the right path, so it's good.
I think we're done with the Q&A session right now. I would like to thank you so much, Arzan, for taking time away from your busy schedule and helping us out with this workshop. I'm sure that a lot of us are now more confident and ready to give our interviews now.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the entire team for organizing this. Thank you for everyone coming. I know that if you have any more questions that you do not want to discuss right now, and you feel that these are very stupid or something, just ping me. Your PlaceCom team is one of the main guides for you right now. You have your seniors, you have the alumni teams. Everybody can make you connect to someone better and bigger. So do not hesitate to communicate, network, and communicate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys, and see you soon. Take care.
Thank you for watching our interview workshop, Suit Up. Do like our video and share it, and subscribe to our channel for more such content.